On December 10th, 2020, the world marked this year's International Human Rights Day. This year's event focused on the violation of human rights which women and girls are subjected to in many countries of the world. For Action Aid, a non-governmental organization operating in Nigeria, two issues stand out as sore thumbs in Nigeria's leprous human rights fingers. The first is that Nigeria has become the world's third most terrorized nation on earth, and the COVID-19 pandemic has added more load to the nation's human rights burden.
Women and girls have continued to bear the burden of the effects of violence and conflict. And COVID-19 pandemic has further heightened incidents of violence on women and girls as it introduced a new dimension to violence. Between January and May 2020, only about 717 cases of rape were recorded by the Nigerian police. This is not by us, but by the Nigerian police. And so, during this time, during the lockdown, mostly by the lockdown period, the pandemic brought with it a substantial rise in reported cases of gender-based violence with a monthly increase of about 149% in 23 states across the country.
Apart from terrorism and the COVID-19 lockdown, which have caused new human rights violations, many Nigerian states have not domesticated the Child Rights Act. That act provides the strongest legal protection for the girl child whose rights today are violated on account of culture and religious practices.
Boko Haram activities have gone on unabated, and frustratingly too, that every group that seems to be critical about the Islamic religion or Muslims, that group is declared as a terrorist organization, and yet the terrorist organizations within this sect, within these religious bodies, are treated with kid gloves.
Any state that has not passed that has not adopted the child's right law is doing disservice to the children in that state. That law is one piece of legislation that has been crafted in such a way that children are the centerpiece of that legislation. It protects their rights, it assures of their responsibility, and tells us what it is that we can do when a child is in conflict with the law or in contact with the law.
Additionally, institutions like the National Human Rights Commission, created to enhance and protect the rights of citizens, are rendered ineffective on account of poor funding.
The government has a duty. It's their primary responsibility to set up this commission and to equip the commission to do its work. One major way is to give us all the infrastructure we need. The government is supposed to promote and protect the human rights of the people. How does government do this? Through its agencies. The police, the military, Human Rights Commission, ministries, agencies, and so on and so forth. And then, if you look at the records also, you find out that the major violators of human rights is also the government.
It is a paradox if the government becomes the greatest violator of human rights in Nigeria. The government is a creation of the Constitution, which also provides in Chapter 2, Section 14, that, I quote, "The security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government," end of quote. In the matter of security and the violation of rights of Nigerians to life undermined by terrorism, President Muhammadu Buhari himself had once held the government to account.
The government has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of all beings inside its territory in Nigeria. And what happened, as I said, in Ekiti and Oshun, the number of military police, other law enforcement agencies deployed to rig elections in favor of the ruling party. If those were effectively used in the Northeast, the end of the insurgency could have been met. The government is not serious about curbing the insurgency in the Northeast.
Unfortunately, the situation seems not to be improving, as kidnappers, terrorists, and bandits prowl every state of Nigeria today. In the last 2 weeks or so, Nigeria has lost 67 farmers in Borno State to terrorists and 334 schoolboys to bandits in Katsina State.
This issue of insecurity has been there with us and degenerating. We have lamented. We set up committees and we made recommendations. Up to now, Mr. President, the first report that you submitted to this Senate was not implemented. The second report was also not implemented. We have made several suggestions in this Senate and nothing was done. Mr. President, you need to, and this Senate needs to move a step further to save this country.
As the world celebrates the International Human Rights Day, the Nigerian government, whose reason for being is the security and welfare of the people, must provide the basis for the citizen to trust that his rights are indeed protected. It is a legitimate expectation which every responsible government should meet.